Welcome, friends and strangers. Today, we are venturing out on a voyage deep into the Amazon with filmmaker and ayahuasca aficionado amigo Jan Kounen. Yeah, I know, you want to talk about his badass films like Doberman and Blueberry. We'll get into that, but we're also going to talk about ayahuasca, virtual reality, and how he smashed the two together, giving birth to an immersive cosmic journey. Available in headsets near you. Here is my conversation with Jan Kounen. So what it seems like you're trying to do, actually you're doing very well in all of your art, all the way back to your pre-ayahuasca films, Doberman, even Vibro Boy, all of these movies, and then in your ayahuasca VR experience, even more, is you're trying to give us an experience, an immersive experience of a deeper reality. What is that reality?
Yeah, the experience, the VR experience, Ayahuasca Cosmic Journey was done actually because I did capture and try, that's a capture,
Yeah.
try to reproduce the effect of the plant into films. So I did my documentary of the world, but I did the Blueberry, and I wanted to have this immersion that you can get with ayahuasca. But what I did, I was thinking the next step will do 3D cinema, but in 3D in volume, with the glasses,
Yeah.
and that would be maybe more effective. And then one day somebody proposed me to do a film actually set up in Japan on VR. It's an experience on VR. And then I started to put the helmet and discover the experiences that has been produced. And when I discovered that at the time, I was immediately thinking, oh, that's the best tool to reproduce the ayahuasca feeling that you can have. Because you don't have le quatrième mur in French, the fourth wall, what we call it. It's the fact that in the cinema, you have a screen. So you know that you can jump into the emotional dimension if it's well done of the character, of the visuals, but still you're sitting at a certain distance. That wall is falling. You're inside the picture. And when you take ayahuasca, you're inside it. You're inside it. And of course, the VR could not reproduce the physical experience, which is very important in the ayahuasca. But at least you can have this vertigo of being surrounded. Whatever you look, you have no escape. So of course, in a VR experience, you can close your eyes, which you can't in ayahuasca because they're already closed. And if you open them, maybe the vision are there as well. So when I saw the potentiality of the VR, it's for me the idea was to pushing. I've tried to translate, to share that journey that I have with ayahuasca for now 25 years. And I use the film, I use the books. It's another way, but it's word, but still it's another way you can give other kind of information. It's a cognitive experience that you can approach a different way. And I saw the VR, the nearest so far that you can have that vertigo when the drunkenness is coming and you becoming fragile, and then the vision opens, and then you're like, oh my God, and then you've been taken by the song, by the icaro of the healer, and it will be a rope that you hold, that chant, that you hold, and then guides you through your visionary experience and healing experience, of course. So when I did that experience, I thought it would be interesting because it's a 20-minute experience, and in reality, of course, could be many hours. But is to have the essential steps of an ayahuasca experience, diving into another perception of yourself. For me, that is suddenly we like rigged into a perception of reality by our senses. What's come with ayahuasca, it's like suddenly unplug something that that makes you see more, or having a different lecture of yourself, the nature, who you are. Suddenly your thought becomes images, creatures. So you can, whether after decide that you live with different creatures that are your emotion and your thinking, whether you can just see it as a language, and in order to share that, I thought the VR was really great. So I took the different steps, the opening of the drunkenness when it's a bit hard, that the chants of the healer open this like cathedral of snakes, and stabilize the drunkenness, and then you go further to touch some spiritual dimension. But then what you do directly after that, you go cleaning, so you go down, you go into your deep, like your wounds, but also your fears, your pain, your memories, and then you go through them. So there could be images of memories, but they, most of the time, and a certain level of knowledge, you'll see only archetypes, but you know where they're connected. And then by the process of what is doing the healer and the plant, then you go to there, even to the dark universe of what they call the Shipibo, the Mawayoshin, the dark spirits of the dead, and some heavy stuff that is around us, might be around us, and the idea is to make a distance between us and them. So and then from there, then you go higher to really higher energy, the lights, where I capture that with the bird sequence on the top at the end, and then in the experience there was a spirits that you see in the room. Actually, I made I want it to be like a documentary, but the only thing I had to change is normally you can have that experience most at the beginning. It's because you touch in reality the spiritual realm, then you go into this big journey than at the end. But because we're doing something that we go step by step, it was more accurate to do it this way, and it could happen the same way at the experience. So basically, yeah, what I wanted is to share that the experiences that many people ask, because now I've seen the experience. I've been touring a lot, and there is many people that have as well drink ayahuasca, and as well I've seen the experience, and they recognize moments, space that they've been there. So it's not like my personal journey, I guess, only.
Yeah, and it's very, I mean, VR is a very visual medium, but you're right. There's something special about it. Um, Visually, what's going on? What are we seeing in the ayahuasca experience? And you're showing us in the ayahuasca VR. There's snakes, there's serpents, there's eyes, there's all kinds of stuff. Is this coming from our internal world? Is it coming from this external world? Is it real? What is it?
As many questions that you ask yourself at the beginning when you drink ayahuasca. The vision are so real as reality. So you ask yourself the question, where am I?
Yeah,
Is this world up, down? What does it mean and stuff?
yeah.
And then all these questions fill your mind, and suddenly you understand that it's not a question of having the good interpretation about what it is.
Mm.
It's to have during the experience a good behavior in order that the process of healing could happen. If you ask yourself many questions, then you like put yourself on the side in a certain way instead of being inside. So the important thing is not to ask yourself too much question. I ask myself a lot of questions, what it could be, concept, what that's world and how it works and where is God. And after diets in the jungle, after some years of diets, I want suddenly to have discovered that the question have vanished from my mind, that the healing was good. It's not a question. It's
Yeah.
like I'm not questioning many metaphysical things. It's not because I don't want. It's just that when you ask me the question, it become I'm not asking myself the questions. I have no answer of what it is. But I know, yeah, I know that more I learn how to behave into it, and more I drink and more I diet, more I'm more efficient into my life, more I get happy, more I see, the mental loop that you can have when you're under pressure, or when the world puts you under pressure, or you have a problem. I see how they come in my mind. So I started to gear up in a certain way. The learning actually in the ayahuasca is what the nature of your thinking, of your emotion, and how to get back to a state where you're like in peace, just in peace, and you do what you have to do in the material world.
Yeah, I guess I'm still trapped in this normal reality of words and questions and all this stuff. And I guess ayahuasca gives you this sort of direct, thoughtless, wordless experience. At least it can. And it's a different kind of perception. You're seeing like more details, or time is slowing down. It seems there's more data coming in, perhaps. I don't know. How do you, yeah, how would you describe that that perception? Is it more information coming in? Are we slowing down time? What is going on?
Okay, I can try to explain a little by describing, in fact, because
Yeah.
that's the only thing I can do is describing
Yeah.
what I feel and what is happening when you have the drunkenness, like suddenly like takes you the drunkenness of the ayahuasca, and maybe from there, I think you can feel what I try to share. So, but basically, what it is that what you becoming fragile, which is a great thing of the ayahuasca. The ayahuasca make you fragile because you have the nausea. You have the nausea. You're starting to feel less control on your body. So that the first effect. You can have even pain because if you have to clean that, it will be in different part of your body. So you enter the experience necessarily with humility, and fear can be uh, of course on the journey. But basically, for example, when you enter there, when I enter in this space, not at the beginning, but now, let's say, when I enter, or those last years, when you enter the space, if it's very strong, let's imagine it's very strong. Suddenly, maybe the brew is stronger than you can imagine. So, of course, it will reach a point where every everyone has a point of limit, of what he can hold. And it's about to let him go. So you have to hold the fact that you let go. You have to concentrate on your physics, on your physical elements. You have to try to disconnect the mental by feeling, because the ayahuasca push the feeling of the veins, of the organs, of what you are. Actually, you made of that. Your thinking is not like in the center of your brain. When you say I'm hungry, it starts somewhere else, so this is going more, you're going into there. So of course, at the first time you are frightened because you see that you are living, that your heart is beating, that the flow of the blood is in your veins. So, but it's only the reality of what you are, and you don't perceive it. And then your mental starting to go with you have a thought on the side. What is go? Oh my God, what I'm doing? Oh, it's too strong. Ah, I'm not handle it. And then inside, those thoughts, you dissolve them because you hear the chant of the healer, and suddenly you enter this new perception where you're thinking that's floating, and you're not completely you're thinking, and you are, because you are also you vary your body, and you try just to feel your body in order to calm it. And then you see that you are a big universe, that you don't have control of it. And I'm always saying that imagine that your body is a little dog that you carry all the day. I've put that in my comic book, where you carry all the day, the dog. So you want him to piss, you push him there and there. And sometimes if you, for example, if your body says it's now time to go to the toilet, he's taking you to the toilet. He says, I have to stop that discussion. Sorry, Michael, I have to go to the toilet. But basically that's how we handle our body. It's just like something we bring there, and this is our mind is in the control, and we do that. Suddenly this little dog that you have, that is it's you, huh? It's your body, become a gigantic tiger. And a tiger will looks to you from the top, you know what I mean? And then suddenly you can be frightened, but why you feel, because you lose that control that you have done all your life. So that's why meditation, yoga, the body mind fusionary experience are the key in order to prepare yourself to an ayahuasca experience, because you will be fully confronted, like the brain gonna go like high, and then you're gonna start to have new thinking because you are in a new experience. You're gonna think, not for the first time of your life, you're gonna think new things, because you haven't think about it all your life, never, because you're in a new space of cognition. So you should not grab that thinking, because most of the time it's wrong. And at the same time, you have a new feeling of your body. And there, the idea is to still be centered and go from the deep of your belly and feel life is floating in your vein, and enter a world, a gigantic world that is yourself. And that gigantic world that you navigate in suddenly become the frontier with another reality of another things around us, or whatever, I don't know. But suddenly it's not only you, it's something else that comes, and you're becoming more like, you discover that you are not like the frontier of your body only. It means that there is things that grow through you, and suddenly you have an idea, or you have a thought or a fear, and you see all this ballet. And then the healer, through the experience that he sees where you are, he calls the spirits of the plants, his knowledge, in order to help you, in order to push the energy of the fear, of the negativity, of the sadness, of whatever, in order to rebuild what you have already in yourself, which is the energy of joy, of life, of beauty, of peace. That's the work that do ayahuasca and the plants. So it's very difficult to explain, but let's say with that, maybe you have a direction.
No, it's good. No, and now you're kind of waking me up, because I was sort of holding on to this certain layer of reality of these questions and these words and whoever I am and whoever I think you are and all this kind of stuff. And you're kind of showing me that it's just letting go and surrendering and opening up to reality. And this actually makes VR even more psychedelic and perfect for this in a way, because not only does it give you the first person experience, it also forces you to surrender, because you have this blindfold on your face and you have to trust it and just open yourself to the VR, where that's different than a movie screen or a smartphone, for example.
Yeah, definitely. And because you are like more involved cognitively,
Mm-hmm.
more, you can't really escape. And of course, it's not like an ayahuasca experience. The big difference is like, as I said, you can close your eyes on the VR ayahuasca, no, and also in the VR, at least you can, if it's too strong, you
You could take it
take the
off.
helmet and you throw it away.
Yeah.
You know,
Smash it.
in the ayahuasca, you can't do nothing. You have to go through, and it could be hours. So, but that's the beauty of it, because if you want really to surrender to part of yourself that want control, that want recognition, that want whatever, this what drives us sometimes. Then with ayahuasca, you're forced to surrender. You're forced to surrender.
You can't take off the headset with ayahuasca. You have to go into the darkness. You have to go into your traumas. Or what are you facing?
You have, yeah, you have to follow, you
Yeah.
have to follow what it's proposed by the ayahuasca and the healer. And when I say, trauma, sometimes you don't have that, and it's not like all the time that.
Yeah.
It's sometimes you enter space which are like another world with spirits of the plants that you're dieting.
Yeah.
But because of that, yourself, you're kind of starting to think something that has to be clean immediately because it's a new thinking that shouldn't enter this space. So it's, and you can be, I was, and I'm still very frightened when I enter a space when the spirits are around you, because suddenly like you have to surrender and to, let's say, die to yourself every 10 seconds.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's so strong because it's between the realm of the living and the larger realm that I don't know. But I don't, actually, the healer says you enter the spiritual realm with your body, which normally you enter the spiritual realm when you die. That the reason why the body shakes, because the body in the deep information that we have in our body is not designed to go there.
Yeah.
Or is, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's the reason why it's difficult,
Yeah.
which is what they say, and I think it's quite clear. But yeah, something else about the VR,
Yeah.
the VR. Basically, for me, it's something different. Is we have the helmet all the day.
Mm-hmm.
We live with a helmet, which means what? A restriction of the senses.
Yeah.
In order to survive, we have to communicate on a certain range of sound. We have to have some information, but not everything,
Mm.
because otherwise we can't move or nourish ourselves, constrict something, evolve, create technology, whatever, survive, procreate, and stuff and stuff. When we drink ayahuasca, we take off the helmet. Then we through a multiple layer of reality. We can't move and act and build and do all that during those moments, but we can receive information, we can receive knowledge, we can be healed. And we just have as a species be able to have a secure place for a couple of hours in order to do that experience. And it's well designed by nature because it's a plant, they are in the nature, and it's designed to communicate to the interspecies communication in order to progress all together and to journey all together in balance with the nature, and the human realm is just one of the realms. So if you have no helmet all the day, let's say, if you full ayahuasca all the time, you can't survive. So the nature and the evolution has given us the helmet that restricted our perception in order that we can navigate. This is really developed, and I think that's a more interesting theory of the moment about what the nature of reality that has put together Bernardo Kastrup. Why materialism is absurd. That's his book, but the Essentia Foundation and his research are basically saying that they're not talking about VR, but they're talking about the fact that we have a reduction of reality, a compression, of reality in order to navigate. It's like, I think the example he is saying is like if you use your phone, you're not really sending an email, you're not coding everything, you're not like having the chips around you. So you need that compression of information in order to navigate. When you drink ayahuasca, then you enlarge the reality. I'm not saying it's absolute reality. It's just another layer.
Yeah.
That for us is a big jump.
It's less compressed.
But it's just that. Yeah, and the Indian, they talk about what is reality and what is real. The world of the spirits is real. It's another layer. It's like they understood they are limited.
Yeah.
We are limited by our senses. The big mistake is to think that what is a compression is reality. It's just it's just for us to navigate. And for any species, if they need things, they have a special, they view more than us, less, they hear, just because they need that to navigate, and evolution gave them, made that. So that I think is interesting concerning ayahuasca. It can explain why we see things under the ayahuasca that we don't see. There is a logic for me. And I think the work of Bernardo Kastrup and on a science which is moving, I think, a post-materialism study, philosophically and also scientifically, I mean, by experiences. And I think is interesting. In the end, it's always the same question, our science is saying we create, we create the reality in our brain, or the spirit is in our brain, and in fact,
Yeah.
the brain is just into the spirit. Everything is spirit. The brain is into it. It's just a receiver. You can break many times you want a television, you won't find the program.
Yeah.
It's just a receiver that can share, and so this kind of vision, I think it's something interesting on because you wanted more explanation or
No, yeah, I think I'm getting it. Yeah.
evolving. I think that the good
Yeah.
direction. I think.
What are some other ways we can get this less compressed experience of reality? Of course, there are other psychedelics, psilocybin and LSD, etc. But what are some non-medicinal, non-plant ways into this? You can talk about these other psychedelics as well, ibogaine, etc., or just non-psychedelic tools for this. Like, how do we have this in our ordinary life? How do we get closer to seeing the fine little details of reality?
Okay, so I've not a very large knowledge about the use of on myself on different plant of different tradition. Even if I definitely know that they are very powerful. It's like the ayahuasca and my encounter with it and with the Shipibo is something that could not fill my life,
Hmm.
even if I stay there. You know what I mean? It's not one plant. It's like hundreds.
And you've done it. You've done it hundreds and hundreds of times.
Yeah, I've done many hundreds ceremonies, but the thing is that you have ayahuasca. Ayahuasca allows you to see and put you in the state, but after you have the diet of other plants, and you have hundreds of combination and hundreds of
Right.
plants, and by that you're starting to
Yeah.
open
Yeah.
gates and
Yeah.
gates and gates. So
Yeah.
I think it's a never-ending
Uh-huh.
story. Even if I just wanted to correctly diet a plant to travel into his world and or receive his medicine,
Uh-huh.
that will take me years and years of dieting, even if it's only a couple
Yeah.
of months each plant, because there is hundreds. And there is plants also through the process of the Shipibo, for example, that have diet that you can find in our world, like um, the hawk tree. It's an amazing plant. So you drink the ayahuasca, but you diet the hawk, so you drink the hawk, and then the ayahuasca brings you into the realm of the hawk. And in the realm of the hawk in Europe, it has been something where the magic of this plant and everything, all the healers through history have connected with you access to that. So there is big plant sakura in Japan. You can diet sakura. So what I think is like what for me, you have the plants, what you need because of your research. Do you have a plant? There is plants to make you draw, to make you learn to draw better. There is plant that heals you, but this type of affection, and another this one, and so and so. So it's a long journey, and so then for me, I know only this process where you can maybe use mushrooms through this same process. It's a cognitive a knowledge that have the indigenous using the plants. Apart from that, uh, apart now from the psychedelic, let's say, because they have all the psychedelics and some other person are more advanced than me to be able to talk about it. I don't think I don't know enough. I've not enough travel with them
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
even if I've tested them, but I would say that you have other technique, and of course, strong meditation, for example. So you have techniques.
Yeah.
If you take off the technology of nature, which is the plant, okay, the nature
Yeah.
itself. It's not like a drug. It's technology designed by the system to help you. So this, if you don't go to this kind of medicine and you want to open your consciousness to see a wider reality in order to balance yourself into it, that's the main point, because we all know that with psychedelic you can go, it's sometimes difficult to come back, and you can have a great experience, but it's very difficult for you to live with it in our world,
Yeah.
and all all the interest is to have whatever experience you have, is that it makes you a more effective and more cool and loving person on the planet. That's the importance of the experience. Otherwise, there is no sense. It's an ego trip. But anyway, you can achieve that, of course, with the meditation.
Yeah.
And I guess that, for example, the Dzogchen in Tibet, the tradition burn, I've met them, and those are really strong meditation, but strong. To be strong, like ayahuasca, is like you like in darkness for weeks
Wow.
and you don't move. So then we'll go to the same state. So meditation,
Yeah.
and yoga as well, but always it depends. It's not doing like 1 hour of yoga looking to an app. That's not what I'm talking. I'm talking with having a master person that drives you into that space, because he navigates into it. And after, you have technology. There's another thing. And for example, you have the technology of the light. Me, I use quasi, almost every day, the
Uh-huh.
Roxiva lamp.
Yeah.
It's a lamp that put frequencies, and those frequencies put your brain in anything, or in deep sleep, or whatever, different states. And you have many programs, and you can even do that. And for years now, 2 or 3 years, I do it every day. When I'm going to shoot on a film, at 12, I eat quickly, always the same meal, so the body can digest it very
Yeah.
fast,
Yeah.
light, and I go like 40 minutes. And when I go out of the lamp, it's like a new day. I'm like fresh and concentrate and good. So it's a very powerful cognitive tool. And you can reach some states where you can have visions, or you can enter like a lucid dreaming, with that. So
Yeah.
that's technology.
Yeah.
And this is the one I like. You put binaural sound. You have also sound technology like the Monroe Institute. I've practiced that. I think it's very, very interesting. So what I'm doing is like combining Monroe, for example, with the lamp. So then you're starting to go strong. One thing I make using mixing things is, I did one time, I went into a tank, floating tank, with
Yeah.
ayahuasca. This is not a good idea.
Yeah.
Never do
Seems.
that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Dangerous.
yeah, no, this is not a good idea.
Okay.
You know what? You understand very well that gravity is really your friend.
Yeah.
Because when you have the effect that are coming, the gravity, the fact that you're sitting, that helps you so much. Because when you float in the cosmos and you have no gravity, you have the feeling to start to turn and tumble into deep space, and you get lost into the universe. So
You're just floating through space.
exactly. Floating tanks don't use psychedelic, but it's another technology interesting. I think it's interesting. You have
Yeah.
technology, but me, I will be really, more music can do that,
Yeah.
so art can give you a consciousness experience. So there is many things, and the best maybe is to walk through nature for days, or things like can have a connection. That's what we look for. You can feel something. Question is to
Yeah.
is finding the technique that will stop the mind to go and process and analyze immediately if you have a change of state. Oh, I'm different. Oh. No, you have to let go every new feeling, everything. Let go, let go, let go. And then when you start to be kind of in this feeling of your body and your mind, but it's just a little part of it. It's not the boss. It's part of what you are. And many techniques can drive you there. Ayahuasca propel you into that dimension. So you have no chance to escape it. You're forced to go there. But it can be hard, So I would say maybe for some people that would be better to do something else. And anyway, for anyone who wants to go with the ayahuasca, it would be good to have a practice in order to have try to reach already a space of balance in yourself. So when the effect is coming, you still have some gears at the beginning.
This is fantastic because oftentimes when we hear someone with ayahuasca experience, they're just talking about ayahuasca, and it seems like it's a locked door that there's no way to get into that except through ayahuasca. So I feel isolated and disconnected from these people talking about their ayahuasca experience. I don't enjoy it. But now that you're showing us there's other kind of ways into this, we don't have to take ayahuasca necessarily. Maybe we should, maybe we shouldn't. I don't know. But it's great that there are all these different options. One of the things you mentioned was sound. Yes, there's binaural beats, there's music, there's chanting. Part of the ayahuasca experience is this kind of song chanting. What role does that play in the actual experience of changing your consciousness?
That's very important. You're right to point that. And I've done that in my VR experience. Ayahuasca Cosmic Journey. It's really all by the chant, and I did say to the healer, okay, this chant is for that because I'm gonna do those visions. This chant is for that. This part is for that. This part is for that. What is a chant and how it's working? The chant is first for the healer the tool to rebalance himself when the effect is coming. So the first song, the first icaro that would do a healer is for himself to balance into the wave of the drunkenness that is coming, to balance into the vision, to rebalance himself, to rebalance his plan, to be suddenly at the end of all that solid. And then he open it he put a protection on the group, and then he open it and start to sing individually the person. Okay. So what is he singing? He's singing his state. His state. Like if he is not good, he's singing like that. He's singing cognitive, it's a cognitive journey. I center the Shipibo translation of the song would be that. I open the drunkenness. I center my senses. I'm concentrating on centering my senses, all my senses. I center my senses. Medicine heal me. Reconnection to the medicine. You know that the medicine is in you. Your consciousness know that the mental is just like a rope in that. And then he organized his diets, the plant's diet. He organized the effect. He's trying to stabilize. I'm stabilizing the effect. I open it for you. I open the effect of this plant. I believe in this plant. I connect my deep self with that plant, my heart with this plant. I have belief in that plant. So it's like a prayer in a way to just have into the mental, assuming that what is your relation, your respect with that plant that is in you, and that's the prayer part, and the other is the cognitive position of what is happening exactly at the instant where he's singing. If he's moved, he will make the song go to be more static, and so and so. And when he's going to sing after, and that until the harmony. harmony of the plant, of his thinking process, of his body, harmony of the organs, harmony for the group, harmony, and he's singing that. So he's connecting his deep feelings, his guts. And the reason why the song are like very fragile in a way, it's because he's singing from his deep belly. The beginning of the icaros is like really like you surrender. And then from there, you stand back. And then when he's singing to someone, he's singing to heal that person, to do exactly the same thing, to sing for her, the centering of the senses, to open the mind or the memory, or to do what he has to do, because what he see on the person, or what the plants tells you, what the diet tells, this plant is coming into his face. You know that this plant says, I can heal him. So then he will sing that plant that he has dieting. It's very strange. Huh? I agree. And then if the energy is a bit strong and he's starting to move, he will go on singing, but he will singing for himself to get back into this ship and this energetic movement between him and the patient. So he sing for him, he sing for him, he sing for the patient, he sing for the patient. Then the patient started to heal. Then the energy is starting to move around. Then he's starting to sing for himself. When he's back good, he go for chanting the patient. What you have to understand is that every icaros is it's an improvisation based on possible concept that he can use. As I say, center the person, center the mind, center whatever, center the drunkenness, put the drunkenness well, but also it could be open it could be clean something, and all that goes not in an order that it's always the same. It goes a direct as an improvisation of what is happening during with the patient during the healing process. So every icaros is an improvisation based on sometimes melody that come back, because the melody is coming from the spirits during the diet. The apprentice received the melody. So the idea is that the healer is becoming the most transparent in a certain way, that the song are coming from the spirit of the plants and goes through him, and him just checking that everything is all right, and it goes a little direction there and there. But more is transparent, is not doing nothing, but is allowing himself to be the more transparent for the medicine of the plant, and the system itself that is in nature is more efficient for the patient.
And these sounds enter our body, they enter our brain. When I experience your ayahuasca VR, it's actually great that the chants are there, because it gives us at least a taste of the embodiment of the ayahuasca experience through the sounds. I know that's one thing lacking in the VR. We only have the VR on our head. We don't have a haptic suit. It's not, the chemicals not going through our veins. So we're kind of having this visual auditory experience with the VR, but we're lacking the bodily experience. But maybe the sounds give us a little bit of it, just a little bit, perhaps.
If exactly, if you want to understand or feel what is the world of ayahuasca, in fact, the best is to go, and you have that on any. It's very easy to find today on any sound, like I don't know, Deezer, Apple Music, whatever. You have Shipibo shaman, and you have healers that are singing, and if you listen to them, you will think to because we are human, so we can feel the emotional state. And basically what's happened during also an Icaros is that he's singing his emotional state.
Yes.
Purely true.
Yes.
He can't lie about his emotional state. If it's difficult, you will have it in the voice, but you will feel the strength and the fragility and what he's going through. So actually, the best explanation of what leaves a healer is to listen as a meditation to the Icaros, and just to listen to the emotional, sentimental state of the healer through his voice.
Yeah.
That's an important point.
You made this short film, the story of Punching Beka, and this kind of captures a lot of this stuff. Um, when the girl dies, her mother is singing this song. It's like what you were saying. She's singing, "My daughter's dead. She's never coming back. She's gone. My daughter's gone, and she's dead." And she's singing this, and you hear the emotion, but also the meaning of the words is like she's just stating the fact. That's one feature of that film. But the other thing was the eyes. The eyes have been throughout your entire career, your filmmaking career too. When I watch all of your movies, Doberman, all of these, this film, the story of Punching Beka, there's always this eye contact. The actor is looking, the person is looking into our eyes. The girl in that movie, her eyes were just like a portal into some other dimension. But even, your older films before the ayahuasca days, I think you were unconsciously using the eyes as these portals into some other part of reality. Maybe it was conscious, maybe it was unconscious, but it seems very when I watch your movies, I feel something similar to what I feel when I do the VR experience. When those actors are looking me in the eyes, when the gun is looking into my face, the camera is looking at me. It's something similar. So what's the power of the eyes? And maybe that little girl's eyes were the most powerful ones I've ever seen.
That's funny. So directors, we have obsessions or tricks or
Yeah.
whatever, or
Yeah.
ideas that whatever we do, we finally reproduce not the same shot all the time, but we have ideas and shot that keeps coming up. And,
Yeah.
and I do think that when you have this, you should just know it that you have this obsession, but then use it as well
Yeah.
because it's guided by the unconscious, the subconscious. It's guided by the inspiration realm. You want to shut the eye, the pupil, and
Yeah.
actually that's funny. My next film that I'm going to shoot in a couple of months is we will be finishing with just just understand we'll be finishing by very close up, also not finishing but almost finishing by very close up of an eye. And uh, you know let's be frank, I'm not the first one. I've been influenced by great cinematographer and
Yeah.
director that filmed the eyes. It's a human obsession, the eyes, the door for the soul.
Yeah.
I remember when I was a kid and I saw in the cinema the eyes of the replicant in Blade Runner. Yeah, it's a mechanical eye, yeah, actually, because it's a
Yeah.
replicant, but it was so beautiful. So it's part in the painting, in the art, in the mystic art. Look at Alex Gray's paintings full of eyes floating. And you can have that also in the visionary eyes by themselves, not human eyes like forms. So, yeah, I, I think there is something into, if you have the right emotion to the eyes, it's a landscape. It's beautiful. I love to change scale actually, and
Yeah.
looking to a very close up on a big screen of an eye is giving us the opportunity to change, to go out of our reduction of reality that we live in, because we never see an eye like that, that like macro.
Yeah.
And I think it's interesting that the cinema provide consciousness experience just because suddenly it will change the sound. You will hear nothing and you will go slow motion, you will go very close up, and all that is modified state of consciousness that is used all the time into cinema.
Yeah.
We don't analyze them, but it's full. Cinema is full of that. What I mean is like we have been, we have been, since the cinema was invented, it has been playing with that. So yes, the eyes. I love filming eyes because I think it's beautiful and we don't see them close, and it's a landscape, like a planet. And I every time I have the opportunity to film it, I'll do. It depends. Of course, it has a meaning. You don't make a two-person like in a kitchen talking about food and having close up of the pupils. I mean, unless you're making like a really arty film that is telling something else into the scene. But if it's appropriate, I think it's very powerful. close up has to be used carefully. Sometimes I feel in the modern cinema we are a lot of close up of actors, and sometimes it's good to have the close up at the right moment because then you're going to nearer the emotion. You like so near to the person, so you can
Yeah.
absorb the emotion.
And you get really close. I love it. And then that seems to slow down time too for me. When I watch your movies, I watch some movies that are terribly boring. A lot of these modern movies, I have to watch them triple speed. Your movies, I have to watch normal speed because there's just too much, especially Doberman. I'm like, I know it's before ayahuasca, but still there was something in your unconscious. But wow, that's a very, like, the frame rate's just so finely sliced and you're like in every second. Each frame is basically a beautiful work of art. But yeah, there's something about the speed of reality. You can change the speed of reality. I also noticed in that movie the pupils were larger, and that's sort of a dopamine experience of this sort of high paced kind of thing. But then after your ayahuasca experience, say you watch Blueberry, for example, there's there's less of these close ups and less of this large pupil, dilated pupils. And there's a lot more panoramic views of flying through the sky, and the eyes seem more relaxed, actually more serotonergic after the ayahuasca. After you did ayahuasca, it seems like maybe your film, um, you sort of zoomed out after ayahuasca, and you're a little bit more zoomed in at the beginning, and things kind of slowed down afterwards too. How did the ayahuasca experiences change your approach to making films, your style or whatever?
Oh, that's very easy. That's very easy to see for everyone. If you want to see if somebody has been changed by ayahuasca, if this guy is a filmmaker,
Yeah,
then you look to his film,
yeah,
pre and post ayahuasca. And then you see that what has changed. Imagine when I was young and I've done Doberman, it's violent, urban, western, dark humor, uh, when I did that punk film a bit, when I did that, you couldn't imagine if somebody showed me that couple of years later I will be handheld in India doing the portrait of Fama in living saint as a
yeah,
documentary and spend my, you know, it's not possible.
yeah,
And after you see my other film, it's like suddenly goes in a many different directions. So I think, yeah, if someone want to see the effect that ayahuasca did on me, they have to see my films.
yeah,
And before and after, you see Boy Doberman, and after you see Blueberry, Darshan, Other Worlds, and whatever. That's very funny because a young director that wanted me to help him being a kind of godfather for a short film or whatever. He talked to me and he said, you know, Jan, I don't want to drink ayahuasca because I do my film with anger. I love that the energy of anger.
yeah,
And when I see your film, I think you have lose that anger, and
yeah,
it's something else. And I don't like that my cinema would be changed by the ayahuasca. And I said to him, you're perfectly right. If you want to still to be with anger, with provoking, and be there, and you're good in there, that's your energy. Then the Shipi boiler, they say that, no, that's his energy. I don't touch it because he likes them, even if it's not good ones, let's say, you know. And I completely understand him. If you like something, and if ayahuasca will see what it is, your thinking process, and you say, oh no, I don't want that. So if you don't want to leave that space, then don't drink. If you want to be driven by, yeah, by those emotions and feelings, don't drink. And me, what you see, I must say, what you see the change of my film, that I was somebody who was doing genre film, Viber Boy Doberman. Suddenly I had ayahuasca and I did this mystical western based on this experience, and then I did Coco Chanel and Igor Stravinsky, 99 Francs. I did very different movies, you know, all the rest. I studying documentary, VR. So it expands the possibility because suddenly I don't have any goal as a filmmaker than to explore something that will make me happy. Cinema is difficult.
yeah.
but explore and take risk. Go in a different genre, We are like artisan, you know. It means you do a thriller, every thriller will be better because you will have more knowledge. But I prefer to do another genre so then it won't be perfect, but at least my journey into the cinema will be richer. And yeah, that's what you can see as well. Suddenly the diversity of what I've done is also a very important point. When you see it's open, the vastity is not in the shots, it's in the genre of the films,
Yeah.
you know. And finally I did a comic book that I drew for a year about ayahuasca called Dr. Ayahuasca. So suddenly I went back to this because I'm from an art school. I went back to say, oh, I want to tell again. Again, of course, I'm obsessed by sharing that realm. But yes, I can do something different by drawings, and it will please me to do so. And maybe I can share something else that I can do in the book, in the film, in the VR,
Yeah.
and maybe one day I will do a stand-up or a theater play about it.
I guess that's another thing about ayahuasca and these psychedelic experiences is they break down this normal boundary of identity and what I can do and what I am, and you start to be like, well, there are no boundaries. It's all one big continuum, and I can do many different things in many different genres, and I can live many different lives.
Sometimes when we are filmmakers or an artist room, there is obsession, there is intensity and stuff. And I have that. I have when I'm a filmmaker, when I'm doing a film, even if I accept a subject, I'm starting to dream about it, to think all the time. But still, I think there is something that has changed for me.
Hmm.
And I think very early it has changed is I want to do a good film and having a good moment doing it. I know it's going to be hard. It's always hard to do a film. It's like physical. You have a lot of problems because you have a lot of matter to move in order to create the film, a lot of cool. But the idea of doing it well and having a purpose is very important to me. And I have maybe lost the idea to do the film I want to do to exist as a filmmaker. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, no, if I don't do films, I will go to the jungle. I will do art. I will do something else, maybe try a manner to fit. But I've been so gifted as a filmmaker to have been able to do the film I've done. I'm gifted. So, I thought I won't do any other features, because the cinema has changed. It become more commercial. I'm
Yeah.
more on the side. So I accept that. And maybe that this film is quite creative is coming and I'm doing it. But yeah, ayahuasca make me learn to not, to accept failure, to accept, to change things in my life, to be more flexible, to not go in depression because in cinema I've met many filmmakers that were doing films at the same period and like they're like a bit depressed today 'cause it's very hard to do film. And yeah, the ayahuasca told me you can do something else. The important thing is. Family, friends, creation, quality of the creation. What do you share? What is the energy contained into your art? You know,
Yeah.
and that you share with others that inspire or whatever, and move from there and
Yeah.
move in that realm. And I tell you the truth. I always say that when people ask me what would be the film you wanted to do, and if you have like a sponsor, you know what I mean? You have like a
Yeah. I got all the money in the world and everything. Yeah. Yeah.
exactly a big guy come and says, I will do a visionary, a pure 100% visionary experience of all the different aspects of reality through culture, through civilization, through plants, through water, through imagination, through reality, through macro, with only music from all dimensions, like, this film Baraka or Koyaanisqatsi.
Yeah.
I love those films. They're brilliant. Geoffrey Reggio and Ron Frick are brilliant filmmakers.
Do you think it would keep the first person perspective? Because it seems like a lot of your movies and your VR experience, of course, it's a first person experience. Even the movies they're movies, but they're experiences. They're immersive experiences. Would it be similar to that? Would you continue that trend?
Yeah, 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 yeah. That will be always. I think ayahuasca pushes you into the cognitive experience because actually it makes you understand that the trick is you think it's real, but it's just a cognitive dimension that you are in. You know what I mean? So
You think you're in it.
yeah, you are in it. And of course, I think that the goal of any filmmakers is to put the viewer near the person, make them live the experience with them, and using the gear and modify the state, their feelings, using the music, the beauty of the emotion that carried the actors. All that is a ballet, the story, the way it's told, and all that is a ballet of to make you feel different things, to make you feel when somebody, because our society doesn't taught us some part of what is the human experience. That's where art enters as a science.
Yeah.
Enters with a novel. You will feel things that will prepare you to feel them if you're confronted to the death of someone, or if you're in a, you experience things through the actors. Heroic, you know, treasure, you experience things. So it's all about experiences and teaching, actually. That's why the cinema is an art. It could be an art of healing,
Yeah.
or it could be a poisoning art as well. Like exactly you have that with the plants. You can use
Yeah.
them for the good thing or for the bad thing.
Yeah, you could have a close up of the eyes, and there are these demon eyes that are somehow tormenting you and bringing you to some hellish world or whatever. You do a bit of that here and there in Doberman and Viberboy and Captain X, and these are intense movies. You're in it. You're in the danger. It's great. I guess you got to go in a second. Yeah, but now that you've made a bunch of films and now you're making VR, when you're comparing the two, what limits were kind of lifted for you um, when you started making VR? You think, oh my god, these are these new things that are possible that I can express. And then, what are some things that you're like, actually, film can do this, but VR is actually limited in some ways, perhaps.
Oh yes, yes, definitely, definitely. Cinema is limited in certain ways with literature. Literature can brings you in some place that the cinema, it's very hard for the cinema to do so, or it does another way, but it's very hard. We know that. So it's the same between cinema and VR. VR, it's art form. It's non. It could be narrative, but for me, it's non-narrative. It's more like experimental film. So it means an experience that you're gonna live in, and it could be
Mm-hmm.
interactive. So you will have less identification, I guess. Less. A movie has 2 hours to make you into the intimacy of characters and make you live through what they process of life that they have. I think, and some of the scene are experiences. We have scene of cinema where you go, wow, so this scene, it's an experience. Okay. But you have the feeling, and in VR, I think that the power of for the experience is even more than the cinemas. And what I'm saying, it's stronger. It's like which is I refuse to do a horror VR because they propose me, because I discover how much it can impact you. It impacts you like a real memory of something living. If you see a guy playing guitar in a VR looking to you, in your brain, it will put it in the memory that you have been with a guy playing guitar instead of you have seen a program of VR of a guy looking to you. So it means that you should be very careful in VR of what you produce, because you can impact deeply at this period of time. Maybe the cinema did the same at the beginning. There was trauma because it was new,
Yeah.
but I think cognitively the brain has it's very difficult for the mind to not put that into the memory place instead of the VR experience. It's something special. Anyway, um, so I think the VR has many things that they can't do. There is some story, for example, you receive a script or a project, you see, no way, it's a VR. But I think now for a filmmaker or an artist, when you have a project, it could be a TV series, it could be a VR experience, it could be a game, it could be an exhibition, and it could be a feature film. And sometimes we are in a period of there is crossing or the border are crossed for the creators. And sometimes you are more thinking like, oh, this could be a great film. No, not a VR experience. Let's make it a film because we have a story, because we have something cognitively, it's more designed for that. Now the evolution of VR that is coming is going to be incredible. It's like it's going to be augmented reality. I want to do a new experience in augmented reality. It means you are in your salon,
Yeah.
and you have your helmet, and then you're
Uh-huh.
starting to have an interaction with the vision or whatever. Imagine it could be another dimension even of the ayahuasca experience. So to mix, to this mixing of what you live into the space of
Yeah.
the ceremony, and you can be many at the same time having the experiences the others, and after that you can be a reaction emotionally if the emotion is detected on your body. I'm talking of a near future by your watch whatsoever. The program will change, and we can use also moving the narrative of the experience, not the story, by the state of being of the person if it's detected, and all that will come. So I think we can go to further, deeper cognitive experience of whatever meditation, fantasy, whatsoever, but will give people a glimpse or a teaching or a training even for those states. I hope so.
Yeah, because right now VR and movies and stuff are separate, but maybe what you're saying is we can have a kind of hybrid experience, a hybrid film. This is part of the film is in VR, and part of the film is a normal film, and part of it's an augmented reality, and it's all like different mediums, each achieving a different piece of the experience. So that would be wild. You might be perfectly set up for that because you've already made the VR, you've already made the films. Maybe you can make a little weird VR film hybrid thing for the very intense scenes. You pop into VR, and for other ones, you're somewhere else, perhaps. Yeah,
Yeah, you can do many things. The only problem so far that we have in our world of cinema and even VR, it's like materially to create those images. You need a lot of people, so time,
yeah,
uh, so you need money. And trying to do things that are experimental, it's sometimes difficult to be able to do them because they're far away from the
yeah,
possibility to gain money from the one who's gonna invest. That's the problem of cinema comparing to painting, comic book, or whatever. We are limited. Sometimes you have a story and you say, okay, you do that. Imagine a painter is doing a painting and say, okay, put blue, but you will have to finish the painting in 2 hours and make it nicer there. And you can do your painting. That's why I have a lot of pleasure to do VR or to do comic book because it's a space where it's financed by state, by
yeah.
government money, more institution,
Okay,
so it's
yeah,
it's it's a free space. And comic book, there is no money in comic book when you create it. It doesn't cost just your time. So that's what is interesting for an artist is those medium where you don't need money to create. You need
yeah.
money to uh, to send it to the world, but not to create. Cinema and VR, you need a lot of money to create the program, and you need time.
What is the comic book doing that your films and the VR experience couldn't do? What are your comic books about, and what are they revealing?
Look, my comic book is this. So
Oh,
basically, it's
Doctor
it's
Ayahuasca.
yeah, it's my story. It's my
Oh,
story with the plants. So it's done in different ways with drawings. You explain visions and stuff. But so it's my way to go on my journey, sharing my journey, my go on my journey of sharing this journey of the plants and the shipibo and the medicine, and it was great for me. My body was so happy to draw. My mind was so light. I was digging with the pen into memories of ceremony that I've forgotten. So it's also a tool for me. It was a tool to re-explore what I
yeah,
did.
because now you're using your hand. You know, you have. you don't really use your hand when you're making film or you're making VR, but now you're tapping into that part of you that's been there since a child. You were drawing pictures back then, and now you're boom, you're tapping into something really
You know, there's
primordial.
this, yeah, this album, I'm saying that in the beginning of the album. It's like when I entered my art school, I wanted to be a comic book artist, you know? So, the thing that is important is that, the kid in me was so happy to finally was doing it. You know what I mean? It's, and that the
Yeah,
ayahuasca that told me that there is part of dreams that you have as your childhood, you know, and you don't do it. It's normal, you know. It's much more interesting for me to be a, for me, I'm saying, I mean, I'm not that good as drawing, so it's much my realm to do cinema. It was my realm. But for some years, important in my life, I had that dream to make a comic and people will read that story. And now when it's happened, I'll do it for the ayahuasca. But I kind of felt during the process, me as a kid, I could say, you see, we have done it together, you and I. You wanted to do it because we're different person when we go through age. You know, that's also something ayahuasca made me feel deeply how much you are different when you are, uh, we know that how much you are different when you are 10, 12,
yeah,
25, 35, 50, 60, whatever.
yeah.
Yeah, sometimes we have dreams and to do them, it's good for you. It's good for you now. You're more collecting the different part of yourself that you've lost through your journey, your dreams. Dreams.
All right, well, you've unleashed a bunch of these different parts of yourself throughout your life journey. Your 20s were captured with, I guess in your 20s, whatever, how old you were, your youth in films like Doberman and Viber Boy and Captain X and your music videos for Erasure. And then you kind of matured a little bit and you captured your consciousness on these ayahuasca experiences and films like Blueberry and documentaries like Other Worlds and the story of Punching Becca. And then you got a little bit older, 10 years older, and then you did ayahuasca VR, and now it's out on the Quest 3. And new things are coming, the comic books, etc. If people want to find all these different creations, I guess it's not really hard. I guess they just Google your name. Is there anything else you suggest they do?
Oh, you know, I think some of the films, sometime in different country, you can find them, you know, on the different channels. You can rent them on Amazon or Apple or whatever for the films. The good thing is for Passion Beka Winuni, which is this film on the Shipibo. You can see it now. It's on YouTube. You tap my name and Passion Beka or eight, the number eight, the film and my name, and you will find it. It's a 17-minute film in black and white. The good thing, I'm very happy that this VR experience that is now in Quebranly for like many months, and there's a lot of viewers. We just did for the Quebranly an adaptation for Quest 2 and 3. That means the experience is more accessible to people because a Quest 2 or Quest 3, it's really like you know, more people have them, and you can, you know, type on the shop and find it, and I don't know, it worth €5 and you can have it and see 20 times. I know people that have seen it like regularly, so I'm really happy that it's disposal, ayahuasca cosmic journey on the Quest 2 and 3. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm really happy for that because otherwise it's only museum that have them in the good quality. Before it was just available, but just it was a cinematic. You know, a cinema, it was not having the
yeah,
3D effect, you know, the six DOF. The fact that you are into the space, and if you move this, you're moving into the space. So basically, because of the exhibition and since the exhibition now it's available. So if you can come
yeah,
to Paris before the end of the month or of April, the best is to go to see at the Musée du Quai Branly the big exhibition on visionary art, and where there is some of my drawings, but there is first the native artist Shipibo, and you have, you
yeah,
know, a lot of great artists occidental. The story of it's a great exhibition, and that you finished by the VR experience. But if you far away, find a friend that has a Quest 2 or 3. If you don't have one, and it will cost you €5.
Yeah, but I actually I found your experience back in I think shortly after it came out in 2019 or 2020 or something like that. And so it's been a favorite for a while. Um, okay, I would love it if you can make it even a like a 2 minute version of that the story of Punching Becca. That would be a powerful little VR experience of her eyes looking into your eyes in VR, even if it's just for 10 seconds. I'm not trying to give you homework assignments, but there's something to play with, perhaps. I know you did at the end of the ayahuasca VR experience there was a hummingbird towards the end, and you kind of enter its eye, you look into its eye, and then you enter its eye, and that eye is like a portal, and it brings you back into the hut with the shaman.
So you see, I am obsessed not only by human eyes. That will be my last word. All eyes are beauty. All eyes are doors.
Yeah, hummingbird, the Doberman, the dog's eyes, even the cameras are like kind
Yeah,
of like eyes, right?
exactly,
There's like the
exactly.
camera's an eye, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm obsessed with eyes too, so I love that.
It was a pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you so much. This is amazing.
It was good talking to you.
I could talk about a million other things, but thank you. Thank you. See you around.
Yeah, next time. Thank you very much. Bye bye.